Now the truth can be told. Welcome to I Have to
Yeah,
Suffer.
Oh,
absolutely.
the truth is that Bigfoot jacks off dudes.
Hell yeah. Fucking sexiest movie we're ever going to cover.
I
I
I'm
genuinely
upset.
wasn't I wasn't expecting Bigfoot versus DB Cooper to be the most homoerotic film I've ever seen.
Well,
But
Wait,
it should
it's
have.
run away with the title.
This would have been like because I was looking at David DeCatow's like filmography, and the first three movies he
Yeah.
made were just like gay porn, and like
uh,
that's what Bigfoot vs. DB Cooper should have been. We're so close.
it really is really close.
I was really so obviously the entire first half of the movie is just shirtless dudes running up and playing with guns, and then it's like zooming in on their cocks and abs. But like there's a scene where the guy is showering and it's focused on his stomach, and you see him just like caressing his balls off camera for like
Yeah,
5 minutes, and I was like, "This is it. This is where it turns."
5 minutes is like being fucking.
Yeah, generous,
generous.
I
Yeah.
generous
so
estimate.
I I was watching this as I went to work, and then I had to run into like the grocery store heading to work, and I forgot I just had to like paused, and it was that scene. So I pulled my phone out to look at like our grocery list, and just opened it to like that dude in the shower while Bigfoot's just watching him. And I was like, "Yeah, perfect fucking scene to have paused on my phone to just pull up at the grocery store on accident."
Like I figured Bigfoot was like some kind of sicko, but I didn't realize that he was
Yeah.
like watching you through the windows gooning.
Hell
You
yeah.
know,
I I've always
Bigfoot's a
suspected
gooner.
he is. I've always suspected, to be honest. I'm upset for two reasons. The first reason is the things that we were just talking about. Especially the scene where Bigfoot was caressing that guy's abs and it was like an upshot from underneath
Under
his
his
junk.
junk.
Cinema.
I felt violated, first of all,
I,
and offended. And I'm also upset because I don't hate the ending. I kind of like the twist.
why is Bigfoot a werewolf?
I We don't know, and I'm kind of here for it.
Also, why is DB Cooper like a modern day guy?
That was my favorite part, is that the entire movie is supposed to be taking place in the 70s.
Yeah,
But like
like, what?
everyone's got like fucking
Yeah.
nice pressed new jeans on and shit.
Athleisure
Like,
shorts.
yeah. Like I was fucking dying when I like they like the fucking Eric Roberts voiceover was just like talking about how it was like 1971 or some shit. And I was like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be literally when DB Cooper's happening. Why is this dude walking through
Yeah.
the fucking woods in like like the tightest cut off fucking brand new jeans, and I swear at
Yeah,
some point he had headphones in.
he probably did. I was like, not surprisingly, this movie has very, like, kind of little to do with DB Cooper, except for like the very
This
end.
movie has little to do with anything except abs.
Yeah, it is a big proponent of abs. The, but like, it's like so funny to me because like I don't know, like we've done a lot of movies like this, and a lot of times like I think the cover's pretty cool where he's just like DB Coopering up there, and then there's Bigfoot, and you have to think like obviously what I assumed this movie was that DB Cooper it. I thought this movie was about him after he jumps out of the airplane and then is like lost in the woods and has to run from Bigfoot. And like that kind of happens, but this movie is like what, an hour or something, and it's pretty much just like the last 10 minutes of it. But it's like funny to me because like we're following this like random dude, and up until the very end you have no idea like what he has to do with DB Cooper at all, and it's just like him doing, well, the guys in their underwear a lot, and then randomly it'll be like, then DB Cooper sat in the airport for a little bit, and
Yeah,
we were also sitting around the campfire,
it's
and
like
it's just like peppered with like the most like clinical is not the right word, sterile like descriptions of like what the DB Cooper lore is, and then it's like, and we were also in big trouble, and then it would like switch back, and I was like, what are you, who are you? What is
it
going
rules
on?
so hard that like, after Bigfoot's jacking off the guy out of the shower and whatever, we're like 50 minutes into the movie, and then they cut to the airplane, and they're like, "Oh, and Dale, who by this point wanted to be known as DB." Like, what?
Every time it would cut to like the DB Cooper stuff, I would legitimately forget that was even part of the movie.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Like,
I'm trying to watch. I'm trying to watch some gay porn here. Like,
there's
leave DB Cooper out of this.
I would be shocked if
I
there's more than
disagree.
30 sentences said in this entire movie. And like it's to the point where like it takes 12 minutes for the opening credits to get through of this dude walking through the fucking woods
Yeah,
and just
literally.
like Bigfoot growling, spying on him. And then there's like, after like comes up the title card, there's like another 8 minutes of like, I think that's when like the Eric Roberts voiceover starts. But then it's like there's like, it'll be like two people will say like 4 sentences to each other, and then 10 minutes of just like somebody in their boxer briefs pointing a gun in a mirror and flexing, or like taking a shower, or just like sweatily walking through the woods.
I laughed so hard when it goes and it shows one of the guys jogging upstairs, goes into his room, gets down into his tidy whities, and then just starts playing with a gun while the camera's zooming in on his abs, and he does it for like 10 minutes. And then it cuts away, and it's the next dude runs up the stairs and does the exact same thing. And they do it for all 4
Every
guys.
single guy.
It's
Yeah.
so funny.
I still think the greatest fucking thing in the entire movie is the guy that takes the shower that is like, I'm marrying a woman somehow in this movie, even though everyone is very gay throughout. Yeah. Like, he's on the phone talking to her, and he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go take a shower. Yeah, I stink real bad. Yeah, I'm gonna think about you the whole time. All right, goodbye.
There's a moment like right at the start where they're all just like hanging out in the living room shirtless, and one of the guys is like, "Well, I gotta go take a shower. I stink, especially after being in the car with you two for the past 3 hours." It's like, what?
Their version of like straight dude dialogue is so funny.
Incredible.
He's like just like basically just being like, after being in the car with you turkeys, I could use a shower. Like,
yeah,
it rocks.
I also love that like they're getting shirtless and putting on short shorts to go hunt some birds.
Yeah,
like
yep.
They're just going to wander out in the woods.
There's a moment where like the 2 dudes come back from their like jog, and they're just like, all right, I'm pretty sweaty, time to change, and they just take off the shorts they're wearing and then put on other shorts.
Jeans.
Or yeah, put on jeans.
They put on
I was
jeans.
like, aren't you sweaty? Like, what are you not going to change your fucking boxers to? Like, come on.
Okay, but then it gets better because they first of all, it is impossible to like put on jeans when you're sweaty. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah. It's
they
awful.
put on the jeans, then they go inside, and that's where they have the conversation where the guy's like, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Ask my wife. And then he's going to go shower, and they're like, okay, let's get ready. And then this is it goes into the scene where they go upstairs and like run around in their underwear for a while. So then it's like, why did you change into the jeans to walk inside and then change back into shorts?
So
like,
funny.
What?
Like, it rocks that this movie is just like every scene is just an excuse for them to be like changing clothes.
Or
like,
not wearing a shirt.
Like, well, I don't know if anyone wears a shirt the entire movie except for DB Cooper. Like,
yeah. One of the guys does for a little bit, but
like right at the start.
Just for an excuse for him to take it off slowly later.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah, okay.
I Googled this, and the Red Letter Media subreddit had a post from a guy who said he worked on this movie, and my favorite bit of lore that I got from it was the director didn't want to use any stock footage of airplanes, so they just went to the airport by his house and like camped like a quarter mile away and zoomed in real close to get those shots of the airplanes.
I literally, in my mind, was wondering if that's what happened.
Like,
Because, like,
I. Oh, go ahead, Katie. I was just gonna say that like I assume this entire movie is just made up of additional footage from a different movie, but
yeah, because like, so the biggest part, the biggest part about DB Cooper is the use of the airline and like hijacking the plane. But at no point is the guy who plays DB Cooper actually at an airport. Like, they use this like. Well, I'm assuming, I don't know if somebody just got on a plane and filmed the back of it, because there is one like shot of a plane where there's like a ton of people. But again, it's like obviously not a plane from the 70s where they were like little passenger planes or whatever. And then there's just like someone in the airport. So it's like clear to me that DB Cooper, the guy who plays him, is like not at an airport. And then there are scenes where there's like the plane flying overhead, and I literally had that thought, did they just like wait and like
so
get
zoomed
lucky
in like...
that there was a plane there? Yeah. It is I did manage to take 3 pages of notes.
How is
so
that
we
even
can...
possible?
I know, listen. Most of it's the DB Cooper stuff. I will say that like one of my favorite this movie, no, like not obviously. One of my favorite things about it though is that like instead of the subtitles, like normally, you know, it's like intense noise in like parentheses or like roaring in the distance. Every single time that Bigfoot showed up, it just said growling with an exclamation point, like as if somebody were saying the word growling. And I was gonna be like, if you're watching, yeah, if you're trying to watch this movie as if you're like hearing impaired at all, you're not there's no way.
So
because
confused.
There was no like subtitling for like the sounds that were happening. It just was like growling. So I hope somebody watched that and was like, what?
I am
sensual shirt removal.
I am I am actually like shocked that we've only done one other David D. Cattell movie out of his 176 films. We've only done Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama. Apparently,
we gotta do some Puppet Master. They did a couple Puppet Master movies, right?
He apparently is like, it seems like currently the go-to like straight to Tubi Vivica A. Fox director.
I saw like 30 movies in a row that were all like the wrong something.
Yeah, and they all star Vivica A. Fox, and I was like, hell yeah, man, get paid. His filmography is bonkers now.
I can't wait for the wrong Bigfoot.
As opposed to the right Bigfoot? Like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
But
David D. Cattell is going to tell me.
I think it's so funny that like he did a talking cat movie and then followed it up with a talking pony. In the same year.
The man's a wealth of ideas.
Yeah.
There's something in there, some series that he was doing where, according to IMDb, the 6th one came out before the 5th one in the same year.
I bet it's that 1313 franchise, maybe, because he's done a couple of those.
It was like Blood something. I don't know.
Yeah,
he has a billion movies. I didn't read through them.
Yeah. It's, I think he's got a Scream ripoff called Final Stab we have to do at some point.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Fucking perfect filmography.
That's incredible because like he's ripping off Scream's own in-universe ripoff.
Yeah,
it's so deep.
I love it. It's layers upon layers. It's noodles all the way down. Ooh, the killer eye.
Yeah, his filmography.
Terror Vision.
You could probably just put all of these listed somewhere and just throw a dart, and you're gonna hit a movie that would be perfect for this podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
My stepmother is a vampire with 2 exclamation points and a question mark.
Perfect.
Stepmother's a vampire?
And then just Wolves of Wall Street. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
want to watch that one to be honest.
Voodoo Academy. Some of these sound pretty interesting, but
Oh no, we're definitely gonna end up having to do.
Interesting, such a generous word
He
to
like
use.
it's so funny because it's like if you look at it, like his stuff in like the like late '90s or whatever is like all
yeah.
kind of like legit, good bad like full moon type stuff, and then you get into the 2000s, it's all just shit like this.
It's the same thing that happened with oh, what's their name? The brothers that do all the dog shit.
Oh, the Polonias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, there's some charm
Dogville
because they're
Bros.
having to use like physical effects and there's no money, and now it's like, oh, you just do all the shit on your iPhone and pump out 40 dog shit movies a year.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like he's got like fucking like 50 movies that came out in like 2013 alone or some shit. Like he's just fucking like Kid said, just pumping this shit out. Like, and like some of it is
Get
like
that bag.
shit where I like we would see it like and just be like, that is a dumb title, we should cover that. But then there's like a bunch of shit like not specifically Asylum, but Asylum style like rip off movies like
Right.
they have a Hansel and Gretel movie that he did probably around the same time that Hansel and Gretel movie came out. That was like an actual like big studio movie. That he's
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
the what's his name? Uh, God damn it, Psycho Son. I can't remember shit today.
Well, he's got like the typical like here's like fucking 20 Christmas movies I've made that
Yeah,
I feel like maybe Katie
that's
has
the path.
hopefully seen some of, and
Probably.
now it's like very much he's in the like straight to Tubi like black drama things. There's like there's so many Vivica A. Fox movies on here he's done, but like his like it looks like all of his most recent stuff, like literally his like maybe the last 40 movies on his filmography on Letterboxd is like not even horror movies. They're all either like Christmas movies or this straight to Tubi drama shit, like the wrong wedding planner, the wrong house sitter, the wrong cheerleader coach, the wrong real
Wrong,
estate agent, the wrong stepfather, the wrong tutor.
the wrong Bigfoot.
Yep, the wrong DB Cooper.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Mommy's deadly
Oh,
con artist.
those can be prequels to DB Cooper versus Bigfoot.
Yeah, the wrong. I
Dale Bigfoot Cooper.
That's what the B stands for.
Yeah,
Man,
crack the
how did
code.
they not have that somewhere in this movie?
I
Right.
don't know.
All
I don't
right.
know.
If you want to like read your 2 paragraphs of notes.
Okay. I I think weirdly DB Cooper is like one of my favorite American like obviously he's not like a pop culture thing, but like kind of.
Disagree. Pop culture icon
Well,
DB Cooper.
I almost did say that, but like because it's kind of more of like a myth, like but it's like very much a part of our like folklore or whatever, and it's just like one of my favorite things because like honestly, it's not even that interesting because like in the 70s you could just hijack a plane. It happened all the fucking time, and that's why like
70s sound
now,
rad.
right, like you could just do whatever you want, right?
Yeah,
Pretty much. And so like
hijack a plane, see if you could fly it.
yeah, just check, whatever. And
You can't
just,
do that post 9/11 now.
well, no. And so, like, obviously, immediately in the 70s or like in the 80s or whatever, he helped lead to like better security. Like, obviously, not good enough, but at least there were a little bit, people inspected bags. You can just walk on the plane from your limo, however you want, whatever. Because, like, he got money and then he jumped out, and like the only reason jumped out of the plane, obviously, if you don't know anything about DB Cooper, the only thing that's like weird about the whole thing and why there's like all these conspiracy theories around it is because he like jumped off of the plane with a parachute and then like nobody ever knew who he was. which in the 70s again is not that hard to do. Like you could have given any name. His name probably wasn't even like Dan Cooper is like what it was before, and then it was changed to DB Cooper or whatever. You could have given them any name you want. Like you could have walked in there and said like
He was Daryl Klooper. That was his real name.
Probably, or like whatever. They didn't give a shit. And so like the idea, and because like also in the 70s you could literally just like drive across state lines and never be heard of again and start a new name, like have a new name identity, whatever. So like it's actually not even that surprising that he got away with this at all, like in any capacity, but for some like reason people are obsessed with it. And like one of my favorite things is people speculating on who it is, because like obviously it's like one of those mysteries people want to know because they just want to know, right? One of my favorite things in like pop culture is when I'm like watching a TV show and they're just like, oh, that guy, he's DB Cooper, and I'm like, yes, I love it. One of like the things spoilers ahead for two very good and on the same level shows. One of the seasons of Loki, they like basically said that Loki was DB Cooper in like an alternate universe or whatever. And then also one of the guys in Prison Break, they were like, that guy's actually DB Cooper. And they literally plot their entire escape plan based off of him actually being DB Cooper and having like planted the money somewhere that they could get to it. And I just find that delightful because it's so stupid.
I mean, I have an actual theory on who DB Cooper was, and it's also who the Zodiac Killer was, Ted Cruz.
Definitely.
If like it's so funny though if you think like you said like this could only really happen in like the 70s, because if it happened now, like we would already know who it was. We would see their fucking Twitter history of them saying slurs constantly in like 2012, and like they were part of fucking the most weird like obscure fucking collectible subreddit, like just insane shit.
But like all that to say, I have, independently of knowing that this movie existed, heard Bigfoot and or alien conspiracies surrounding DB Cooper's like lore or whatever. Not specifically what happens in this movie, but the ending I will say this movie's ending caught me by such surprise that I have to give him props. I actually kind of like it. So this movie
I just wish it was in a movie that was 15 minutes long instead.
I agree.
If this was like a real, like if you cut out any fucking moments that like people aren't interacting, this movie would be 10 minutes long and like a relatively like interesting short movie.
Yeah, this could have been a segment of cryptids, whatever the fuck that documentary was that had mystery Black Panthers in it. Like that's essentially what it could have been here.
Good old J. Michael Long.
Yeah, you guys should get together. You and
thank you,
David. Whatever.
Oh, I thought you meant me. And
not you.
Shane, when I found his Blues guy, Shane was like, "You should invite him on the podcast." I was like, "Absolutely not." Not having someone that's made 90 fucking straight to Tubi documentaries about aliens and cryptids come on here and say something fucked up, probably.
Yeah, now I need to know his thoughts on DB Cooper. So, okay. I promise that I will only say DB Cooper maybe like 10 more times. I've said it probably a lot already. Okay, so this movie starts November 24th of 1971, which is facts. And we're in Washington. We're by a river. Not surprisingly, there's woods. So there's some real Are You Afraid of the Dark type music going on here on these woods. And like, not even exaggerating at all, the opening of this showing like the wilderness, and like don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It's like it's Oregon and Washington, whatever, which is like all super beautiful. But we don't need it because like we know we're there, right?
Yeah, and we got better things to look at, like shirtless dudes.
Okay, well, luckily for you, I wrote. Okay, so this is where we're announced. We are introduced to our question mark main character, whose name is Bernie, and he is telling us this story in the future because he has a voiceover that is like obviously him as an older man. And so like it just shows him like walking up the path. He's already shirtless. And I was like, oh, okay. And he basically is telling us about how he told his family that he's going to visit relatives, but what he's actually going to do is turkey shoot. Because it's the day before Thanksgiving, and if your family wants to eat a turkey for Thanksgiving, you gotta go shoot it.
I gotta say, doing that the day before Thanksgiving is bold, because there's a lot of prep work.
Like, the thing needs to be brining already, and you're out here trying to catch it fresh. I will say, I probably will do a lot of country-ish accents. There's no country accents going on here, but it's just... When a bunch of guys are going turkey shooting...
all as newsies.
Oh, I don't think I can. I immediately went to like a Mickey Mouse type voice. Oh shit, guys!
I'm gonna remake this movie, but everything's gonna be dubbed, and you're gonna have to do the voices of all of them, and it'll be like Mickey Mouse. Okay. You could do fucking a doozy. Woo! You could do Yoshi as one of them.
Yoshi, yeah, great.
Yoshi is obviously Bigfoot.
Yeah, he just instead of growling, it's Yoshi.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Perfect. I'm gonna make so much money.
Yes. Bring it in.
The 300 people that have logged this on Letterboxd are gonna be fucking banging down the door.
They're gonna be shitting their pants. Okay. So Bernie is walking up the street with his gun over his shoulder. He's got just some cutoffs on, and it's the day before Thanksgiving. He's gonna go shoot a turkey to feed to his family. And basically, he is telling us about how there's like hear tell of rumors in this woods of a dangerous creature. And he said, I would encounter something a hell of a lot bigger than turkeys.
I want to know how much Eric Roberts got paid to do this voiceover.
And also, to be fair, it's the woods. Almost anything's bigger than a turkey, but it's fine.
Oh, turkeys are pretty big.
You know, I know they are. Yeah, they are, but... you get like Bigfoot roaring and like tree shaking and stuff.
Oh my god, just, the CGI tree shaking is so shitty. It rocks.
Incredible.
It is really crazy, and it's just like I looked at the timestamps. Like, from the time that he comes and says, I'm gonna go shoot me a turkey, and then he's just, like, roaming around. Bigfoot is, like, basically, like, following him and, like, peeking out behind trees and whatnot. He is literally walking around for a solid 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, in real time, 10 minutes. I'm not even, like, exaggerating.
It's 11 minutes before the, like, title card of Bigfoot vs. D.B. Cooper comes on the screen.
And 10 minutes of it is him just, like, walking through the woods silently. Like, not telling us anything.
I mean, to be fair, this is way more interesting than Brown Bunny. And Brown Bunny had a real blowjob in it, so...
Wow. We also see this, like, weird, like, shadowy outline of Bigfoot. Like, it's broad daylight, but for some reason he is in shadows. And the title card. Okay, so... Then, now we just get more, like... scenes of like a bunch like a community of houses, the beach, there's just like city stuff happening. Now we're at the airport. We see airport stuff for a while. This is where we
It's so funny how much time is wasted in this movie of just like static shots of things, like just people milling around an airport or a plane going by, or just like literally just a dude walking from like the way far corner of the screen up to like walking past the camera. And it's like there are moments, like we said, like most of the beginning, it's just like 11 minutes of just this dude walking and like Bigfoot growling. And then like there's sometimes so little dialogue that like when it does happen you're like, wait, what?
And like the music sometimes will turn like spooky, like he's being in pursuit, but like he doesn't know that he's in pursuit, so it's like very weird the music choices that are going on here, especially like when the guys are like in their underwear. I was like, what?
I think it was Justin DeClue's review of this on Letterboxd. Like, for some reason, there's a commentary on the disc for this that he listened to. That's just David and Linnea Quigley. and they're just like just talking about other movies, anything else. Like one of the quotes he put, let's see, Bigfoot slowly moves his hand towards a guy's dick. It's like Beauty and the Beast, Linnea says. That's what I was going for, David says. A horse appears. Look, a horse. That horse is a camera hog. I bet this commentary is so much more interesting than fucking the actual movie.
Well, yeah, because it's like things
But
talking.
I really wish it was like old school, like first run of DVD commentaries where they were taking it like really seriously. When they're just like, in this shot, I was trying to get my like Werner Herzog tribute in, and it's like just fucking this dude walking through the woods shirtless.
So there's a bunch of airport stuff for a while, like literally just airport stuff. And then we see the close-up of a guy suiting up, which is that he puts on sunglasses. And the narrator says that he has some plans of his own.
This dude is the least like DB Cooper looking, because isn't there like a mug shot of something, not like like a real mug shot, but like a wanted poster for DB Cooper? Or am I just equating that with movies I've seen?
There is, but like, yeah, this guy looks nothing.
Yeah, this guy doesn't look anything like him. These fucking drawings look like a fucking Mark Zuckerberg a little bit. This guy just looks like a fucking like modern like dude who would be at like a 5-Finger Death Punch show.
Yeah, he also like the quote unquote drawing of him where he's like wearing the sunglasses. He looks like he kind of looks like H.P. Lovecraft actually.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
So,
I mean, so does
like,
Mark Zuckerberg. So
yeah, true. Just like a yeah. Okay. Confusingly, like it kind of makes sense later, but like not really. Bernie walks up to this house where he's gonna like turkey shoot at the house, and for some reason there's a bunch of like shirtless guys that come out of it, and they're just like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he was like, "Oh, I didn't know. I thought this house was empty." And he's like, "We rented it for turkey hunting season. Want to hunt some turkeys?" And there's like 5 guys out there, and they, again, nobody has a shirt on. There's one dude that has a shirt on, and so Bernie's like, yeah, sounds great. And then they're like, do you want a beer? And he's like, yeah, I would love a beer. And they're just immediately like the best of bros. They just are besties. But Bernie is telling us that he has had a sense of dread this whole time. So now, like, Bernie also is the one that's like telling us about what's going on with DB Cooper behind the scenes. So he tells us that Dan Cooper got aboard a 727 Boeing out of Portland, Oregon. And basically they reenact what happened, which is that DB like calls over the stewardess to hand her a note, and she's like, "Okay, thanks." And the stewardess like behind the scenes thinks that this like random passenger has like given her his phone number or something stupid like that. So she is going to do her customer service thing, which is like a woman in customer service, which is that she's just going to be like, "Oh, thanks." And then like throw it away and like not pay attention to this guy. And what he says in the movie is like, you should take a look at that note right now. I have a bomb. And then he like opens the briefcase and it's like, boo wee.
Oh, it's
and it like
incredible. The fake bomb. It's just like
shows the bomb.
Paper towel tubes wrapped in some yarn
and some twine.
TNT with a Sharpie written on it.
I took a picture of it because I could not believe it.
Perfect. Yeah, it is really insane. And like, I'm pretty sure that what actually happened was she just read the note and then was like, "Oh my God, I have to go," whatever. But in this like reenactment, he shows her the bomb and it was like, "Don't you want to go tell the pilot?" And she's like, yeah." The scene is so bizarre to me because it's like him very clearly not on an airplane, first of all. He's just like sitting somewhere and we see the reflection in his glasses of like what appears to me to be like a bunch of vending machines and then like a mannequin standing there. So like he and the stewardess are not actually like talking to each other or like in the same room or anything. It was like incredibly weird. Um, but anyways, basically they're telling us that he's asking for $200,000 and 4 parachutes, and when they land, he wants there to be fuel for the plane. Those are his demands, right? Okay, so now there's 20 minutes of two of the random dudes from like the bachelor party turkey shoot, and they're just like running through the woods together, just like two random guys. Party. I know. They're just like running through the woods. There's a bunch of shots of Bigfoot like growling and like peeking out from behind trees, and like, you know, they just do that stereotypical thing where they like have the camera behind a tree and then they peek the camera out to make it look like they're being followed. And then like there is a Bigfoot costume in this, but like you don't really, you know, like it's not in focus or anything, but it's whatever.
Hold on a second. So isn't like a bachelor party usually like the night before the wedding, or is that just like a trope in movies and TV?
It might have been at one point, but it's definitely not anymore, because I think like when we got married, Chris had his on like a Thursday and we got married on Saturday. So I don't think it's like a strict thing anymore.
Do you think whoever's getting married in this is getting married on Thanksgiving?
I hope so.
They had to go to the turkey hunt, make the turkey, and then get married after they eat.
Yeah, he's like, well, honey, our guests gotta eat, don't they?
We're gonna make him a full Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, he's got to get multiple turkeys too. So, you know, he really needs to be getting out there. However, like, he's on the turkey hunt bachelor party, but he's the one that's like, I'm a lover, not a fighter. I'm not gonna go shoot turkey. Like, what are you there for? Whatever.
Well, I like the idea of your own bachelor party being a thing you don't want to do.
You don't like? Yeah, right. So, this is the scene that we were just talking about where the dudes immediately change out of their running shorts. And, like, I have to say, like, most modern movies, or, like, more modern movies, like, obviously, if you're watching something that was, like, in the 70s or 80s, dudes are always wearing tighty-whities. Like, that was, like, the style. But
It was the only underwear they made.
Right. Like, I know everybody has, you know, boxers or briefs. It's like a big thing. Everyone has their like thing. I just like don't know that I've seen anything like this many like tighty whitey type situations in a movie ever. Like, it's normally boxers, because boxers like leave something to the imagination normally. I was just like shook that these men could not keep their pants on. They like literally could not keep their pants on.
Well, what they don't tell you, it's like a hidden detail in the movie. All of those pants are filled with spiders.
Yeah, like what one would have to assume.
Nails.
Yeah.
But this is so
they're like Iron Maiden pants.
Yeah.
There's like sandpaper. So like, yeah, so like these men are wearing running shorts. They get to the back of the house, take off their running shorts, put on their jeans, and then like put their guns in their bags like on their shoulders, and then walk into the house where everybody's standing there like, hey, we're just like whatever. They all are just like also casually handling like shotguns or like whatever rifles maybe they are. I don't know anything about guns, but they're all just like holding them.
These guns don't look like good fucking hunting rifles to me.
No, they're
tiny.
They're also just like, they've got one over their shoulder and they're just like standing there shirtless, like gun safety question mark. I don't know. It just seems very crazy to me. But they walk in and they're like, okay, so how about it, Bernie? Are you going to turkey shoot with us? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, great. Like, oh, there'll be even number of us. We can go 2 and 2. And that's when the bachelor guy's like, hey, no, I'm going to go take a shower because you guys fucking stink. And he leaves. So basically they're like, okay, let's go get ready to go out on this hunt. And like, getting ready to me would be like, all right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, I'm gonna put on some hunting gear, something that will like camouflage me from the turkeys. What actually happens is that it's 20 minutes of like each dude individually walking upstairs, discovering their bedroom, taking their pants off, because again, they're not wearing shirts. It's just pants or shorts or whatever. And then like some of them have their guns and are like being like, you know, like a you talking to me kind of thing where they're like pretending like they're shooting their reflections and or doing exercises like push-ups and sit-ups and shit. And it's like every time one guy finishes his shenanigans, then it shows another dude walking up the stairs, and it happens for like all four of them, five of them, because then there's the guy that goes to take the shower too. And I was like, I'm actually so befuddled about what's happening here.
After this is the halfway point of the film. Like,
Yeah.
literally, this is the first half of the film.
Yeah. And so yeah, I wrote 20 minutes of music and dudes in underwear doing guns at mirror separately, and then deciding what cutoffs to wear. They all come down in different colored shorts. This is when the narrator is talking about being in Nam for some reason. Like, it comes back at the end, but it was like so random because they're like talking, and he's just like, I met my best friend when I was in Nam. I don't know, he saved my life. And it was just like out of the blue, and the other guy's like, okay, well, cool. Like, the guy who's getting married is, like Nathan said earlier, talking on the phone to his like fiance, and is basically just like, I'm gonna go in the shower.
Yep,
He
I
gets
stink
in the
real
shower. Yeah, like literally describing it. Like, she doesn't need to know that guy. She's getting married to you. Like, anyways, he gets in the shower, and again, it's just like the weirdest, like, long scene of this dude being in the shower, and then Bigfoot eventually, he's like peeping, right? He's like into it, but
this
then
entire shot is essentially like, just to show how old I am. It's like that D'Angelo video where it's just like him singing, and it's just from like literally like probably cutting off right where like his dick would start. It goes like so low, and but he's got like that fucking weird fucking V thing where he's all ripped and shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like constantly lingering on that for like 8 minutes straight.
Yeah,
and
like, then like his hands are down there,
well, but
and I'm
yeah,
like,
and it's like he's doing it where he's like it's supposed to look like he's showering, but he's got no soap, so he's just like rubbing water all over his body.
Yeah, it's just the tight like abdominal shot, and you see both hands moving clearly around his balls. Insane.
I'm not. This is not really my cup of tea, but you
and
know,
then it cuts to Bigfoot staring, gooning.
like standing in the bathroom, just like watching.
I wish we got like the exact same shots of Bigfoot, that like this Bigfoot mimicking this dude.
Yeah,
so it's just Bigfoot's hairy belly and just his hands running down him. Just
rubbing himself.
Gross.
Hey, Bigfoot's got needs.
Anyways,
too.
I
told you he's out here gooning.
He is gross.
Wait, who do you think?
And...
who do you think this Bigfoot was? Because like,
right?
Spoilers: DB Cooper turns into a Bigfoot at the end of this movie. So like,
oh yeah.
Do you like?
This was Amelia Earhart.
Oh.
What if every Bigfoot is just a lost fucking pilot?
Yeah.
You know how many like what was that fucking flight that just disappeared? They're all Bigfoots now.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so shower guy gets killed, and then we keep getting...
I should start making like shitty straight to Tubi like documentaries like that dude does, but they're all about how like every person that's disappeared is a Bigfoot.
Every disappeared plane is full of big feet now.
I learned about it in a movie, and I'll just constantly just only reference this movie without saying the title.
Exciting it like in a fucking paper.
Exactly. Like, I saw this documentary that was about how DB Cooper, about how Bigfootism is actually lycanthropy, and that's what happened to DB Cooper.
Man, I'm gonna make so many tens of dollars.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm inclined to believe that this is the fact.
I'm just gonna fucking find a shit ton of like stock footage and just piece it together with like voiceover about like how everyone just turns into a Bigfoot when they disappear.
I mean, that would explain why they don't find the bodies. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so shower guy's dead, and then we also get this shot of him like in the shower, sitting in such a way that his junk is like barely covered, and we see it multiple times.
Oh yeah, this dude is like all of the shots of him. It's like you're barely missing a piece of dick showing in the screen.
I hate it. Okay, so basically now, they're just like, so it's gone back to tell us that, DB, like everybody is cooperating with DB Cooper, where they've gotten his money and they're like doing his list of demands, and he eventually kicks everybody else off the plane except for like the pilot and like a stewardess and like people that he needs to physically make the plane work, make the plane go. And he's on the plane. He kicks all the passengers off or whatever. And then Bernie says everyone was unharmed, which is unfortunately not the case with the guys I was hanging out with. See how he did that? See how he segued DB Cooper's situation back into his situation at the turkey shoot?
Yep.
Not surprisingly,
You could slam this movie, but you can't take away that it makes sense.
Yep.
That he's
Flawless.
got me here. I mean, this is more eye-opening than Lichen Colony, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, okay, so not surprisingly, there's more shots of woods and Bigfoot growling. Bernie talks about Nom again, and then this is the part I was talking about where he was just like, "Oh, I met my best friend in Nom," and then the guy that he's with is like, "Oh yeah, well, that other guy's getting married. Ugh, he's got the rest of his life ahead of him." And I was like, "What? How does that? What are you talking about here?" And then they're like cut off because they're like scared by something, and it is like very obviously the shadow of Bigfoot. But the guy's like, "Oh, it's just a squirrel." I was like, "Oh,
Yep.
Squirrelfoot.
it's just a squirrel." Let's see. The shortest of the guys, says, he's got to go back to the house so he can drop the kids off at the pool. And they're like, "Okay, well, we're not waiting for you." And he's like, "Go ahead without me." So he goes. He ends up finding the dead guy in the shower. Bigfoot is in the house at this point and kills him. I will say there's no blood at all. There's not a single drop of blood. It's literally just Bigfoot slapping like the camera with like a sound, and then that's how he kills people. So he basically just like slaps this guy and he's dead.
Yeah. What else you need?
This is when they start telling us that the government is like not just gonna let DB Cooper get away with this. Spoiler alert, they definitely do. He is on a plane bound for New Mexico, and they've like dispatched fighter pilots to go and like follow behind the plane or whatever. Cool. This is when Bernie and or maybe this is the other two guys. It doesn't fucking matter. We don't know anybody's name except Bernie. But basically one of the guys is just like, "Ugh, where are all the turkeys?" And then the other guy goes, "Does this answer your question?" And it's like, "Wow!" Again, that like shocking noise. And it's just like a pile of bones that are like obviously not from a turkey because they're like human-sized bones. And the guy's like, "Oh, I don't want to hunt bears." And he's like, "I don't either." And then they run back to the house. Bigfoot's there. He was watching them. Then
Yeah, you
this
can just
is when,
assume
like,
anytime we don't say it, Bigfoot is just watching people in the background.
like literally, like
Yeah.
actually, because any tiny scene that happens with the dudes, it like cuts away to like Bigfoot being like, "Or growling," Benny and the guy basically start talking about like Bigfoot legends that are happening in the woods because they're like, "You don't believe in that, do you?" And he says, "I do trust my instinct. That's why I'm alive." Okay.
I mean, fair, I guess.
Yeah, and he's basically just like, "I don't know, I'm getting a bad feeling about this, like we should go back." And the guy's like, "No, I want to hunt. I want to shoot a fucking turkey." And then Benny just like knocks him out with his gun. And I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, that's where the twist starts.
Back at the house, another guy is doing exercises in his underwear again. I'm not even sure who it is. And Bigfoot. Oh, this is okay. This is the guy we were talking about earlier where he's like, he has gone back to the house because he was the one that like was like, "I don't want to fight a bear." And he goes back to the house and immediately takes his pants off again and is doing exercises in his underwear. And that's when Bigfoot comes in, and there's this like really like long drawn out scene of like, it's like from at first it's like from Bigfoot's POV where he's like looking down at the guy and the guy's looking up at him just like shook because Bigfoot's there. And then it cuts to this angle that's like from the floor and we're like looking straight up underneath this guy's junk and Bigfoot's hand comes out and is like caressing his abs. And the dude is like not sure which way this is gonna go. Like maybe he's into it, he's not sure. But then Bigfoot is like, actually, I'm not really that into you. And Bigfoot just like slaps and kills him. It was so shocking and unnecessary of a scene, by the way.
Disagree.
Woof.
Made the movie for me.
Yeah. I dare somebody to make this like a 3D viewing experience because woof.
3D hand just reaching.
This is the only thing that VR is going to be good for, is getting like a hand job from Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So he yells, right, because he's being slapped to death by Bigfoot, and also, you know, maybe he thought there was a chance for an encounter, a sexual encounter, and he's been denied, so that's gotta suck. So he yells.
Mad. He mad he didn't get jacked off by Bigfoot.
I kind of think
Which,
he
I mean,
is.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
You know?
We've all had this nightmare before.
Yeah, right. The guy who's like outside hears him yell and he goes, "What is it now? What the hell is going on around here?" And I was like, mind your own business, bro. What do you think? What are you talking about? So he walks around the house for a while. It's like literally a long shot of him walking through like every single room of the house, and he ends up finding like somebody's dead body. He's like, and he runs out, and then Bigfoot just like is outside and like smacks him into the pool, and he's dead. This is when DB Cooper is like giving instructions to the pilot, like, make it at this altitude, do these knots, do whatever, you know, plane speak. And this is the scene I was talking about earlier where they show that same stock image of a full plane, even though they've just told us he got everybody off the plane. So that's why I was like, okay. Then Bernie tells us the rest went down in history, literally, and that's all we know about DB Cooper. And then he says, "I'm the only one that knows what happened. Who am I? Bernie Doyle, Cooper's accomplice." Excuse me?
So stupid.
Classic.
I literally chortled
Burn
out
dog.
loud. I laid back on the bed and kicked my feet in the air. I was so excited about this twist. It says, then he's like telling us about how he served under DB Cooper in Vietnam. He'd do anything for him. And then he says, who is DB Cooper? That will remain a mystery. And like while he's saying this, we're seeing like stock footage of somebody like parachuting down or whatever. And so finally DB Cooper and his best friend Bernie Doyle have met up. And they're like, "Oh, hey, oh my God, I can't believe you actually did it. Yay." And they're like all excited, right? But then it shows us that the guy that Bernie knocked out with the gun wakes up and sees Bigfoot and is like, "Oh no," and like runs. And he's like being chased by Bigfoot for like 5 or 10 more minutes.
Been there.
But Bigfoot slaps him, you know, as he do.
the fucking Bigfoot like slash motion is so shitty.
Yeah. It
rocks.
So Bigfoot shows up in front of DB Cooper and Bernie's like, "I was right. The stories are real." Okay. And so, basically they're like, "Okay, you know, like, please tell me that you parked the truck around here so we can like make an escape." And Bernie's like, "No, I parked it 10 minutes away and I hiked here." Fucking idiot. What kind of escape artist guy are you?
Great plan.
Right? And so basically DB is like, "Give me your gun, I'm a better shot than you, and then like run for it, like we'll figure this out." And so Bernie's like, "Okay," hands over his gun and runs. And then DB Cooper basically is like trying to shoot Bigfoot, but the gun is jammed. And he says, "It's not going to end like this. The most successful air piracy in American aviation history, foiled by some mythical creature." He has a way with words.
Yep.
That is poetry. The
Beautiful.
American aviation history, goodness. Also, air piracy, love it. And then, what I expected this entire movie. This is literally like the last 5 to 10 minutes. Well, that 10 minutes is generous. This is the last 5 minutes of the movie. This is what I expected the entire movie to be about, which is that Bigfoot and DB Cooper go fist to fist. They wrestle, they fight, they're smacking each other in the head, they're kicking each other. It's like an
Jacking each
actual,
other off.
yeah, you just know how they do, slapping butt cheeks and whatnot. And this is like again this like weird shadowy silhouette. It's like really bright, but they are shadowed in silhouette somehow. And somehow DB Cooper wins. He like fucking
Yeah.
kills Bigfoot. I
Like
don't know
pushes him down,
how.
and Bigfoot's just like, "Ugh."
Ugh, I'm gone. I'm a goner. Because like again, we can't really actually make out what's happening, but Bigfoot falls to like and like passes out and he's gone. And Bernie has come back and he's like, "Oh my God." Oh, one of the things that DB screams while they're fighting is, "Not my money, you hairy son of a bitch." I liked that. Bernie comes back and sees that he's like defeated Bigfoot, and Bernie's like, "Oh my God, you did it! You did it! You're famous! You hijacked this airplane, and also you killed a mythical creature! Oh my gosh!" And then DB's like, "Yeah, I am famous, but you can't tell anyone." And Bernie's like, okay, I guess." And then basically he's like, "You got to get out of here." And Bernie's like, "Why? You're fine. Like it's just." And then they show DB like holding his leg, and it's like squelching, of course, with blood or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, you gotta get out of here." And Bernie's like, "It's just a scratch." He's like, "No, it's not. It's not a scratch. He's marked me." And his voice starts getting all
What?
like deep and shit. And basically, they don't flat out, well, they do, but they don't show it to us. But basically, they are insinuating, as we've already spoiled, that the Bigfoot virus can be passed on by like marking or scratching somebody. And now DB Cooper is turning into the Bigfoot.
Yeah, this I
Literal
believe
cinema.
this is how Bigfoot. This is why we don't ever see Bigfoots. It's
I
constantly changing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I am like I was like shook by this. I was like I have never seen this or heard of this in my whole life, and I'm here for it.
Never contemplated the possibilities.
Like actually no. And so like yeah, his voice is getting all deep. He's like, "You gotta go." And Benny's like, "Well, can I at least have the money?" And DB's just like, "Rah!" And he's like, "Okay, you can keep it." And he runs off. It's like, wow. You don't even get any money for all that. Like what's a Bigfoot gonna do with money? Wipe his butt, I
Right?
guess? I
Like,
don't know.
kill him right now while he's still a human guy, and take the
Yeah,
money.
exactly. But they're best friends. He would do anything for him. So basically Benny like runs Bernie,
Yeah,
whatever
Bernie.
his name is, runs off into the distance or whatever, and is basically just like 43 years later, you can still hear him growling as they search for DB Cooper. I mean, Bigfoot. The end. Amazing.
Cinema. Perfect cinema.
I
A classic.
I was as shocked as anyone to say that I was actually impressed with the ending because other than that, it's just a bunch of tidy
I mean,
whities.
look, both like I was fully expecting it right when I got through halfway through this movie that these storylines never actually like
I know,
Yeah.
yeah.
collided. So I was at least on board that it did.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was like I am by no means saying that this is actually like, "Oh man, go watch this movie. It was so great," whatever. But like there are so many times where we watch movies like this where like the movie ends up not being about the actual thing. And like, okay, for the most part, it's like not really about DB Cooper as much as turkey shooting or whatever the fuck. But then a lot of times they make no sense and they don't go anywhere. And this at least did have like a actual clear storyline that was like unique. So like, I don't know. I still gave it a 1 star, but you know what I'm saying?
I was debating giving this 5, but all right. I don't really look at any news. I don't think there's probably like nothing I saw this week.
Um, I have an update on Ghost Adventures star Aaron's wife situation.
Is she in jail? She and Azalea dying now?
Yeah, she is. She is actually in jail right now, as far as I know. Well, you know what? She might have been out because I think the bail was like $100,000 or something like that. And uh, so I don't know when her actual like hearing will be. But the further thing that I found out about it was that like, because like whenever something like this happens where it's like a murder for hire situation, like normally the people have been in a relationship for a really long time and like the other person is just like, I just can't stand it anymore. They were married for like 3 or 4 years. Like they have not been married for that long for her to be like, I need my husband dead.
Yeah,
And
but
so
he's
then
got
it
money,
further,
I'm assuming.
I would think so, maybe. I don't know. I know that Zach gets paid a shit ton of money for every episode. I don't know about Aaron. But it came out more that like the guy that she hired, she literally found out about him by watching a documentary on like Hulu about how he killed his family. So he was in prison for like killing 3 people, I think. And then she like started messaging him, like had him like, wrote mail to him or whatever, and then like had him smuggled in like a illegal prison phone or whatever. And I think it came out that she was like having a like relationship with him, like a long distance relationship with this man who has killed his family. And then she's like, yeah, I don't know, am I a bad person because I would rather have him killed than divorce? The answer is yeah. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And
I
so
don't
that's
know.
really
I saw him put
crazy.
those crackers back on the shelf in that one episode after he ate them.
Listen, he does have some bad habits, I would say. Is it worth killing somebody? And then I can't even remember how much money. And it like, okay, I think it also came out that it wasn't actually him that was going to do the killing, but it was like somebody that he was hiring for her. And then like, but they like confiscated his phone and found out about it because of his prison phone or whatever. So like, stay being fucking stupid. Like, what the hell? And like I said, he did file for divorce, so good for him. Uh,
It'd be
Yikes.
awesome if he was just like, I just thought I'd see it out.
I think she'll come around. And then apparently like um Zach is saying that they will not include this in the in the season that they're like um recording when this happened because they were out on a lockdown while this was happening. Um and Zach is saying that they're not going to feature it as part of the show, but I don't know, Zachy.
They should.
I don't know if I believe that. Yeah.
All right, Kit, what'd you watch this week?
Uh, Nothing, I don't think. I caught up on Summer House. That was my big watch.
All right, what about you, Katie?
I assume that's a
It's a Bravo show.
okay, yeah. Say
Oh,
no.
I did see Death of a Unicorn. It was good.
Okay. I didn't watch that much actually. We watched Labyrinth for a bonus episode. Okay, to catch a Yeti. I finished that Gordon Ramsay's 24 Hours of Hell or whatever the fuck that show was called, and I started Hotel Hell, which I have to say,
Speaking of
I don't.
homoerotic,
I was gonna say, speaking of so many butts, I don't understand. Like, first of all, the show's uncensored, which caught me off guard. I don't obviously care about cussing, but it just like caught me off guard the first time I heard him actually cussing at somebody. And then every single episode almost, Gordon takes a shower and shows his bare butt cheeks. Like every single episode. One time it was twice in
that's
an
how you know a
episode,
hotel's
and
good.
then unless you're having your bare ass
Yeah.
out, I guess I don't know. And then one time they like zoomed in on him soaping his cheeks, and I was like, listen, I know that when he comes into restaurants, the women fawn over him because he's so tall and whatnot, but like I don't need to see his butt cheeks.
Disagree.
I really
I
don't.
do.
That should be.
So
He
far
should be
though,
pantsless every show.
Yeah.
Walk.
he
He
should be
walks.
I only want cheap.
doing a
Walks into the
turkey shoot.
kitchen, takes his pants off, and puts on a chef jacket, and just Winnie Poohs it the whole
It's
time.
They need to like zoom in on his butt cheeks whenever he's calling someone a fucking donkey.
Winnie the Pooh.
You fucking donkey.
There
That's
was
just
a
butt
moment
cheeks.
There was a moment when I thought my light flashed before my eyes because he went to this one hotel that was like the guys who ran it were like obsessed with cars or something, so the designs were all fucking crazy. And they had this tub in the room, like in the actual bedroom or whatever, that was shaped like an egg. And you like
Oh
get
yeah,
inside
I
of
know. I
it,
remember what you're talking about.
and it was like it looked like a pod, and then it had like a mirror on the back. It was like really fucking weird, and it was like a $20,000 tub or some shit like that. And he gets in it just because it's like so wacky, but he gets in it, and then there's like soap bubbles, but they're like not really, and it's like an upshot, and my life flashed before my eyes because I thought we were gonna see his turtle peeking, but it didn't, so
Gooch.
it was fine. The Gooch shot. And so I'm watching that now. I don't like it as much as like just the regular restaurant stuff, but like it's fine to just like have something else to watch because I'm like pretty quickly going through his non-competition shows. So
I've watched some of those hotels. It just makes me never want to stay anywhere ever
I
again.
okay. I like already feel gross about hotels and stuff like that because of my like germ thing. So like I already barely can handle staying at a hotel. I don't need to be seeing like some of the shit. He always also of course does the like black light thing and he's talking about it's just like really vile. It's so gross. Anyways, it's been a hard watch for me. Um I watched the movie, let's see, I think it was from last year, Oddity. Um,
Oh yeah, Oddity's
I
good.
actually, I actually really liked it. I didn't know what it was about at all, but I thought it was like pretty fun twist. I actually
Fuck that
talked about,
thing. That thing's horrific.
yeah, no, thank you. I also like then when they described it as being made of wood, I was like, huh? No
Ugh,
thanks. I don't like it.
unnerving. She's pulling
Um,
shit out of the back of its head. I was like, nope,
yeah,
nope,
no
nope,
thanks.
nope.
A tooth, I would have been like, peace out. I don't care if I don't have my keys. I am walking to town,
No,
my guy.
I'm killing myself on the spot.
Literally. So yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was like an interesting twist on like I don't know. It was pretty cool. I talked about this last time though, but I thought maybe I watched this movie called Stop Motion, which is from 2023, and if you haven't seen it, Kit, I was gonna recommend it to you because it's like about it's about this woman who does stop motion, obviously, but it's like very unsettling, and
I'm in.
I think you would like it. Um, I feel like I feel like I did watch something else, but I can't remember what it was. So
All I
that's
got
that's
is
mostly it.
some bad Edgar Allan Poe movie I watched that Vinegar Syndrome put out, The Mansion of Madness, and it was pretty boring. Other than that,
Boo.
reading alien novels. I'm on
Hell yeah.
Resurrection right now. So far, it's pretty boring. I mean,
I'm. I
Yeah.
was fucking devastated to see that they cut bitch out of
I
Aliens
was.
because that book's been sitting on my shelf for like a year and a half
I
now.
think I talked about that in the last episode where I was like, the
Yeah.
rest of it is written like it's not like the Alan Dean Foster's not like a great writer. Like it's pretty fucking standard, whatever. But like Aliens, like they do a pretty good job of like getting into like the action sequences and shit. So that entire book, I'm like just getting so hyped to get to that moment, and then it was like, "Get away from her, you!" And I was like, "Boo!" Just went from a 5-star
You
How do
book to
you
like
so and
3.
so.
how do you fucking botch it?
Yeah,
You know?
it's like fucking extremely detailed descriptions of like fucking people's fucking chests bursting out and shit, but you can't have the word bitch in there.
But no cuss words.
Imagine like you're writing the novelization and you haven't like actually seen the movie, that just gave you the script or whatever, and you're just like, whatever, unnecessary swearing, don't need it. You write it, and then you go and see the movie and see that that's like the big thing everyone gets from the movie, just like, well, fuck.
I
Oop.
was so mad. Um.
Wait until you read the Alien
Oh, I've
3
tried that, the William Gibson one or
novelization.
whatever.
That is the worst dog shit I've
Yeah,
ever read in my
like the
life.
actual Alien 3 that Alan Dean Foster does, pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I listened to the audiobook because Lance Henriksen reads that William Gibson one, and it sucks. It's so bad.
God, absolute dog
Just
shit.
give me one on the Wood Planet. That's all I'm asking for. I'll need that story. Katie, what are we watching next week? Is next week your birthday episode?
I think it's the week
When
after.
the fuck's your birthday?
Wow, the 27th.
Oh, why did I think it was the 17th? All right. Well, then let's fucking pick a
I
Bigfoot
don't
movie,
know.
I
Yeah,
guess.
so it's,
Let's see. Uh, oof. Some bad Bigfoot movies on here. I was trying to find one that like was either older or had like a relatively decent rating that wasn't like a garbage fucking 2020s movie, but that seems
yeah.
very far in between. Kit's already seen House Squatch.
Hell yeah.
You gave it a very,
Terrible.
very good half-star
The
rating, so.
the yeah, modern Polonia Bros movie shit blows.
um, Kit, have you seen Shriek of the Mutilated?
I haven't even ever heard of it.
Well, that's good because I asked Kit, not
Oh,
you.
It sounded like you said
Oh no, I said
Katie.
Kit.
I think I think I watched it. The like 70s one, right?
Yeah. Well, let's do that. It's on Tubi, and it's got a Vinegar Syndrome release that I don't think I've gotten to yet. So, Shriek of the Mutilated from 1974. It's a Michael Finlay movie, so it'll at least look good because Roberta Finlay will be cinematographer.
Hmm.
It's either that or Bigfoot's Bride from 2020. The
Hmm.
only thing in
I mean, what
the
a
only thing in the description is it's Bigfoot like you've never seen before.
married.
I believe it. Yeah, Bigfoot from this one killed DB Cooper, like went on to marry that guy's wife.
I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do Shriek of the Mutilated. Mostly at this point, I'm just waiting for Night of the Demon to pop up somewhere for free, so we can talk about that absolute banger.
Man, that movie rules.
All right. If you'd like to support us, you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/IBSufferPodcast. Katie and I recorded an episode on Labyrinth where I try to talk her into listening to Harsh Noise Wall based on Labyrinth.
Hmm.
You can leave us a rating and review on whatever dumb podcast app you're listening to this on, probably. Hopefully, I still wait for someone to tell me they use Deezer.
Yeah.
Because I refuse to acknowledge that as a real thing until someone tells me they use it.
Feels like an old person app.
Yeah.
It's just for Weezer podcasts, I assume.
Yeah.
You can follow Kit at HinKitstery, a Gentrification of Blood. You can follow Katie at WerewolfFace. Join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/WerewolfFace. You can listen to my other podcast named K Movie Club. I just realized we didn't do shout outs. Let's do shout outs then. Katie, what do you want to shout out? Are you gonna be shocked?
No, I actually had something and then you skipped it, and I was like, well, it's fine because I don't. My shout out is I just read. I've been having a hard time this year reading books that have actually been good, and I just read two that I really, really liked. One was called Sign Here by Claudia Lux, and it follows this like worker in hell who tries to get people obviously to like sign contracts to like, hey, like I'll make you rich if you, but when you die, like we get your soul or whatever. And it was actually really interesting and good. And then I read a book by Amelia Hart, who did Wayward, which was like one of my favorite books that I read last year. She's came out with her second book called The Sirens, and it's equally as good. And both of the books are basically about like different sets of women, but like throughout time, based off of actual historical events, but they're like fictionalized, and they're just both really good. So
I need you to buy the Prometheus novelization and translate it out of Japanese for me.
Okay, I'll get on that.
Yeah, apparently there's a Prometheus novelization that was only released in Japanese,
That's
and
incredible.
the cover looks so sick, and I want to read it so bad, but I do not understand Japanese. So, Katie, I know you
Well,
have I know you understand some of it, so you could just translate like the words you
Yeah.
do understand for me.
Okay.
time
Well,
to crack open Duolingo.
Hard pass.
I know. I am still doing Duolingo, but I'm only doing it for Spanish because I was doing it for both in the beginning, and it's just it's too much.
Kit, what you want to shout out?
Uh, Shout out board games. They're cool. They're about to die a horrible, horrible death from tariffs. So, if there's any you like, go ahead and buy them real soon because they might not be around.
Yeah, go buy Monopoly. I assume that's what you're talking about.
Yep.
Definitely.
I did not plan a shout out. So,
Shout out to WCW Kiss superstar, the Demon Dale Torborg.
oh yeah, I don't know what that means.
Remember, Kiss had their own sponsored wrestler that came out in like Gene Simmons makeup.
Oh man, I may have fucking checked out by that point.
It's real bad.
It sounds
They
not
they
great.
signed a deal with Kiss to where he would main event a certain number of events every year, but he's an awful wrestler that no one liked. So like in the middle of random pay-per-views, they'd be like, "Oh, this co-main event that happens like 40 minutes into it," just so they can say like, "Well, it was a main event."
Oh god,
2000s WCW, really
I
something.
saw I saw someone like point out they were like like AEW is never gonna be a real wrestling promotion until they get Insane Clown Posse to come out because like all of the rest of them
True,
have.
it's true.
My shout out, Chapel Roan, I guess. Just
Oh yeah.
how dare you, Katie?
Ugh.
She's so good.
I like went on this whole thing before, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sick of her and Sabrina Carpenter." And then like the next episode, you were like, "I'm obsessed with
No, I
her."
hope she never goes away, and I hope she keeps saying fucking
It's-
wild shit to people because they get very bent out of shape about it for some reason. Said something like recently about how she's never met a single happy person with kids, and I was like, hell yeah, go off, Queen. All right.
Shout out Sabrina Carpenter. She's in Fortnite now.
Pfft, you guys suck. Anyways, here I found you can subscribe to this guy's Patreon, and he did a translation of Prometheus.
Oh my god, I'm not fucking subscribing to a Patreon for that.
You have to if you want it.
Because I no, I've seen like because when I looked up, Googled it or whatever, it was coming at that dude's like Reddit post about it. But as far as I could tell, he had only gotten halfway through and then gave up or some shit. And so I was just like,
Perfect.
cool. So I could read, I guess, the first half of it.
I feel like if you're charging people for at this point, it should be the whole thing.
Yeah.
But
It's baffling to me that they just like have just that somehow that is the one that they were just like only in Japan.
yeah, that's
Did
like
Alan Dean Foster
what,
not need work that year?
maybe not. He's like, you know what? I'm good. Thank you though.
All right. Oh my god, this Kiss wrestler.
Incredible, right?
God, what they were doing too much. You got fucking Gene Simmons and fucking the Misfits.
Yeah.
Just the worst people on earth. All right. Shriek of the Mutilated next week. I hope you get jacked off by Bigfoot, but why?
Wow.